And greetings, Scottsdale. We're back with another episode of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale with Don and Kevin.
Hi, Don.
Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? It's getting warm out.
Yeah, it's good. Summer's coming around, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't avoid it.
I'm back to the short sleeves.
Yeah, pretty soon we get the shorts on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stay low key because that's what we do in the summertime
That's
in Arizona, right? Yeah, for sure. Well, we've got somebody who knows how to handle the heat right here.
Yeah, we do.
His name is Will Lofdahl, and he's the general manager for WestWorld. Welcome, Will. Glad to have you here today.
Thank you both for having me on the program today. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Well, so Will's a Scottsdale native, which is really cool, with more than 3 decades of special event and facility management experience. Previously, he served as in executive roles at large exhibition and sports venues in Western Canada, because you've got dual citizenship, right?
Yeah, my mother was born in Weyburn, Saskatchewan, so that made me a Canadian. And I was born in Phoenix, so that made me an American. So
kind of a good time to have options right now, isn't it?
Yeah, you're actually born in Phoenix.
I was actually born in Phoenix.
So yeah, dual citizenship day one.
St. Joseph's Hospital. Actually, when I was born, I was a Canadian. But at that point in time, the Canadian Citizenship Act had a clause in it where it says that by the time you're 35, you didn't fill out certain paperwork, you lost your Canadian citizenship. So I lost my Canadian citizenship because I didn't know I was a Canadian. Yeah. And then a couple years, probably 18 years or so ago, the Canadian Citizenship Act got amended to where you didn't have to, even if you didn't do the paperwork, you were still a Canadian. So I'm a Canadian twice.
That's great. Well, keep that in your back pocket. You never know when that might come in handy.
You're just waiting around and not fill the paperwork out, were you?
It's good to be both, because you have more opportunities. So
one of the things that Will did in his background, he was the assistant general manager for the Georgia Dome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the NFL's Atlanta
5
Falcons.
years in Atlanta.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Working at the Georgia Dome, we did some really big events there. I had the opportunity to be on the this Final Four, of course, rotates from the Dome stadiums around the country. And what the NCAA did when I was working at the Georgia Dome was they took 2 or 3 people from each of those stadiums, and they had those people work on an operations team during the Final Four. So I got to go to work all the Final Fours when I was living in Atlanta.
That would be cool.
It was pretty good.
Cool. Yeah.
It was a great time. I'd go in there the week before, and we'd put together all the things that we were doing, and then we'd work the event, and it was a good time.
So you bring a good resume to WestWorld. That's
I hope so. Like to think that I don't know everything, but I know a few things. So
you started September 23rd, so you've been through about half a year.
About half a year.
So you got halfway into it. But so talk about what brought you to WestWorld. How did you end up landing here, and any other kind of career highlights that we haven't hit on yet?
Well, the opportunity of moving home was appealing. I hadn't lived in Scottsdale for 35 years. It's changed. Quite a bit since I lived here. So the opportunity to move here was intriguing. And I run a convention center for horses, and there's not a whole lot of those. So that's
And where were you at just prior to coming back to Scottsdale?
I spent 10 years running SaskTel Center, which is a 15,000 seat arena in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and then I spent the last 3 years as the vice president of corporate operations for the Regina Exhibition Association, which is a multiplex. They have the Mosaic Stadium, which is the home stadium of the Saskatchewan Rough Riders of the Canadian Football League. Yeah. We had about 750,000 square feet of exhibition space. We had a 7,000 seat arena. So we'd do a lot of events. We claimed that had about 3 million people came to campus every year. I don't know if that's true, but we certainly had a lot of people.
And 3 million sounds good. Yeah,
we had a multiplex with 7 ice sheets. So we did a lot of rec hockey. Hockey's big in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, hockey in Canada for sure.
So that's the job that I had just before I came here, and now I've been here for 6.5 months.
6.5 months. So how do you think your background has shaped your approach to managing WestWorld? Because you got a lot of different experiences.
WestWorld is an event facility. So I've worked in event facilities my entire career. Never worked anywhere else. Don't know if I'm able to work anywhere else, but I work at event facilities. So and although its in all reality, half of the events that we do at WestWorld are non-equestrian related events. So of the 100 annual events that we do, about 50 of them are equestrian events, and about 50 of them are non-equestrian events. And I've worked in a lot of different aspects of events. 5 years of NFL football, NBA basketball, did NCAA basketball, probably worked 700 concerts in my career, some rodeos, some horse shows, so a little bit of everything. And now more horse shows than I have done in the past. But what WestWorld is embarking on as we speak is we're going through a strategic planning exercise, and we are trying to create the direction and the vision for the facility going forward. The facility's never had a strategic plan before, so I think it's really important that we go through this exercise. We'll bring in all of our stakeholders. We'll canvass the community to get a feel for what the people who we're responsible to, what they want us to be. So that's going to help direct us for the future. So that's going to take about a year for us to complete. We're a few months into this process, but I'm looking forward to the results of that. And from that'll help us springboard as to what directions we want to go.
Any early indications of what you're discovering as you begin the strategic planning process?
We're really early in this. I would only be speculating right now, but I would have to think that what the community wants is a facility that is vibrant, one that brings people to the community. And certainly we want economic development. We want to bring tourism into the community with the Barrett-Jackson auto auction every spring and fall. Certainly that is a mainstay for us, and they bring a lot of people from outside of the state to come to that event. Yeah. And there's a lot of the horse shows that we put on. We have Arabian Horse Show, we have Sun Country Horse Show. Those events, if you drive through our parking lots during those events, you can really see the number of people who come from out of state to come see those events. So
that's amazing.
And we fill a lot of hotel rooms and restaurants. So we help to make the community a stronger, more vibrant place. Now, we also want to provide events for the local community too. We do the home show and we dabble in other events that appeal to a more local audience. So we're trying not to be something for everybody, because I don't know if you can be everything for everybody, but we're trying to define our path so that we are efficient and effective with our resources, and we serve the city of Scottsdale and the community as well as we should.
What do you think sets WestWorld apart from other venues, and locally in Arizona or even nationally? Because it's so much going on out there.
Yeah, well, we are our foundation is that of an equestrian facility, and there's not a whole lot of dedicated equestrian facilities around the country. There are some, but we're one of the larger ones, and we have over the years developed a good, strong reputation of being a good place to come for an equestrian facility. Plus, when it's snowy in Minnesota, it's really nice here. Yeah. So we take advantage of the good weather that we have here for 7 or 8 months out of the year, and that has springboarded the facility and given the facility a really good reputation. And it's our objective in the coming years to just keep growing that and developing that reputation.
100 events a year, that doesn't give you a lot room for, it would seem, for a lot more. How do you go about deciding or choosing what events you want to host? I'm sure people are knocking on your door all the time to want to do stuff out there, right?
And that's a good point. We don't have a lot of excess inventory. So we have 90% of the events that come to WestWorld are repeat business, which is great to have repeat business. So when we do have an opening, we want to be judicious as to how we select the events that come into that opening. And right now, this is prior to our strategic plan, which will give us more direction. We're focusing on 2 pillars. One, economic development, bringing in people from out of the community that will spend dollars within the community, and also bring in revenue to the city of Scottsdale. So those are the things that we work towards. Plus, we want to have variety within our programming, so it gives the people of the city of Scottsdale and the surrounding communities a place to go to see events and to be entertained. Like we had the Ferrari Art Show a couple weeks ago. We've never done anything like that
first time
before.
For that, wasn't
and
it?
That was a phenomenal event. We had, I believe, about 126 galleries from throughout the world that came in to display their art and sell their art. And it's my understanding that the show is very successful.
That's great.
And they'll be coming back. So that's what we want. We want them to come back. We want the events that take place at our facility to be successful.
Sure. I was always curious about what kind of team you have out there to make all that happen with all the activities that are going on. What's your staff look like? How do you make it all happen?
We have a staff of 30 people, very hardworking people. We have an operations crew that turns the events over from one to another. And when you come to the Ferrari Art Show and you come there for a couple hours and you enjoy it and you leave, well, when the show's over, our crews are there helping the show to move out and then turning it over and getting it ready for the next event. And the next event might be bringing in dirt and working around the clock to get ready for the next event that's coming in. So we definitely have a group of very hardworking, dedicated people, many of whom have been there for a long time. Some people have been working there for upwards of 30 years. So we're very lucky to have the group that we have, and we couldn't do it without them.
That's amazing.
And you still do the polo show, polo, right?
Yes, we
Polo
do.
event too. That's on your property.
That is correct.
When is that event? Is that in October?
That takes place in, I want to say early October.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They try to wait till the hot summer months get through, because it is an outdoor event.
Yeah.
So, and that's also been a mainstay and a very successful event over the years. It allows us different types of programming. Not very many times you can go and see a polo event.
Yeah.
It's a very niche and a very, very interesting event. We're lucky to have it.
I was curious about how you set up and then break down from the rodeo where you got to put dirt in the floor.
Right.
So what's that all involved? How much dirt do you bring in? How long does it take to get it in and get it out? I mean, people don't think about that, but you have a rodeo with all the dirt you need.
Yeah,
the next day you got a Ferrari Art Show that's got to be pristine. How does that all come together?
Well, and planning is important. You're right. It takes dump truck full of dirt, and we've got a pile of dirt in the back.
That you use.
We have different types of dirt depending upon what event we've got coming in. If we have a monster truck show or something like that, then there's a certain pile of dirt for that. And if there's a horse show, then there's a different pile of dirt for that. But when we move a dirt specific, by that I mean a show that's got dirt on the ground, out of our indoor facilities, it takes 2 to 3 days to turn it over and get it ready for the next event. If we go from a dirt event to a dirt event, it might not take as long. Or if we go from a non-dirt event to a non-dirt event, then it doesn't take as long. But we've got to be mindful if we got a dirt event that the next event is not negatively impacted by the fact that when you load the dirt out, the dirt's all going up into the rafters and it's clinging to the walls. So you got to pressure wash the walls and the ceilings and all the duct work to get it ready for the next event. So that takes some time.
It's always amazing to go behind the scenes, Kevin, and look at what it takes to put events like this on. People don't realize the work that goes on back there. Yeah.
No, when I went to the rodeo recently, I saw that you go into the arena, and first of all, that thing was packed. Yeah. I think you guys are capacity for that
we
thing.
were. We were really happy about that.
I hadn't been there in a while.
That was a Parada del Sol?
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good at rodeo.
Yeah. And so I went to that, but I noticed that the way that you stage the horses in the back and how they come through the kind of the grandstand there onto the arena was really cool. You had that big, huge holding area for them. I thought that must be really unique.
Yeah, we have the South Hall adjacent to the Equidome, which allows us to stage for rodeos and equestrian types of events, and also other events as well. So over the years, WestWorld has evolved. About 12 years ago, the Tony Nelson Equestrian Center was constructed. That allowed us some indoor air-conditioned space. So that has allowed us to be more flexible and to attract an even wider variety of event activity. And we're looking to the future. In the future, we're looking to maybe add additional exhibition halls. It's not something that's necessarily in the plans right away, but it's certainly our hope and our expectations. And in time, we'll be able to accommodate even more and larger events at WestWorld.
I was kind of wondering, as you do your strategic plan, I wonder how as you look at the infrastructure out there, I mean, in terms of expansion and things like that, is that something that you might pursue down the road in terms of build out?
There's certainly, we have 383 acres. So we have plenty of space. Trying to figure out how to add to our space so that it serves our mission well. That'll be part of our strategic plan and our plans going forward.
I'm curious about the plan because you said you involve all of your stakeholders in the city and so forth. Are you going to be reaching out in a public way to invite people to participate? Or what's that look like?
There's been some canvassing of people who've come to events at WestWorld, and Keen Independent. I believe if you go on their website, you can access a questionnaire as well.
Okay.
But we are doing our level best to try to get a good sampling of what the community is looking for from WestWorld. With that, then it gives us a springboard, a starting point for how to prepare and plan for the future.
Now, when the strategic plan is ready to produce, will you roll that out to City Council, or how will that be rolled out?
Yeah, it'll go to City Council. Certainly, we are part of the city, and we report to City Council, and it's important that City Council sees what it is that we're doing. And actually, members of City Council are being interviewed during the strategic planning process. So their ideas and opinions and beliefs and desires are all being folded into this plan.
Do you report to the city manager? What's that look like for you?
I report up to the city manager.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
through community services.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Are there any events that you couldn't do or wouldn't want to do if somebody approached you? I mean, I'm sure if you probably couldn't do a Taylor Swift concert out there.
Well, you could on the polo field.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because there's been a Garth Brooks concert there before.
Has there really?
Oh, I didn't know
so,
that.
We could do it. We could do a Taylor Swift concert there.
Now, was Bike Week at? Did you guys have any events up for Bike Week this week?
Yeah, we had some concerts.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember going to concerts at WestWorld in the past for Bike Week, but I didn't hear anything about it this year.
We had 4 concerts.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And well attended. So Bike Week went well. It was a little colder than it normally is.
Yeah.
And but nonetheless, Bike Week was successful, and we look forward to them coming back again next year.
Great.
What kind of challenges do you face, overall in managing such a diverse venue such as WestWorld?
Well, the foundation of what we do is that we want to send everybody home safe.
Yeah.
So if you come to an event, our first priority is make sure you get home safe and sound. So our safety systems and our procedures to ensure that we deal with any threat that might exist, whether it be fire or weather or so on and so forth, that we're well prepared for that. Certainly we have budgetary responsibilities, so we want to make sure that we're meeting our budgets, and we want to make sure that we're servicing the events that come in there well, and that we are helping to position the events to be successful. And we've got a lot of events moving in, events moving out. So it's in a constant state of flux. We're always going, and it's not an 8-hour day by any means, nor is it a 5-hour week. We oftentimes are going 7 days a week.
Sure.
So keeping people from getting too tired and staying motivated and wanting to continue to go forward, trying to create ways in which to enhance how everybody works together. Those are kind of the major things that we focus on.
You're in the events business, so when you're not working, what kind of events do you like to go to? And can you go to an event without critiquing it along the way? Like many event planners, they go to events, they say, I would have done that, I would have done this, I would have done that different.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you do that a little bit. I go to some events, like my wife and I are going to go to a Diamondbacks baseball game this weekend. And I like to go to the theater. I wouldn't, between us, I wouldn't really pay to go see a concert because I'd probably work 600 or 700 of them in my day. So
right.
it's not that on my spare time, I'd rather go to the theater or read or spend time with the family. But yeah, we go to some events from time to time. And there's that critiquing aspect. But
can't help it, right?
Yeah. And like I went to a couple San Francisco Giants preseason games. Of course. At Scottsdale Stadium.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal facility that is.
It's
just tremendous. Yeah. And it's, you go to the Major League Baseball stadiums and it's 40,000 seats and you're sitting so far away you can't see anything.
It's up close and personal.
But you go there, every seat's great. Fantastic. And the weather's great, and the hot dogs are great, and the place is clean. I think they do a very good job.
Easy to get to?
Easy to get to.
Yeah.
I think they do a really good job there. Yeah.
This is a great community for theater.
It is.
There's a lot of different good theater options here. So now that you've been here since, well, you grew up here anyway, but between Phoenix Theater and all sorts of other theater companies in town, you never lack for an opportunity to go see a good theater.
Yeah, we'll
show.
go see some theater. The wife and I.
That sounds good too. Any goals outside of, I know you're doing the strategic plan, but any kind of personal goals you have in terms of your leadership out at WestWorld over the next couple of years?
Well, I think what we want to try to do is optimize our programming. Or we've mentioned that there's not a whole lot of spare weekends. We want to identify some events that we can potentially bring in that might help to grow into be marquee events at some point in time. We're going to be doing a fair called the Scottsdale Fair, which is going to be going on from the 25th of April to the 3rd of May. That's going to kind of like a state fair kind of a thing. There's going to be rides and midways and that sort of thing.
Is that new?
Yeah, brand new.
What's it called?
Scottsdale Fair is what.
Really?
I'll go to that.
Sure.
And we're hoping that seed germinates, and that in a couple of years that can be a real strong mainstay for us.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, we're trying to see if we can find some events that grow and become anchors for us, like the Barrett-Jackson Auto Auction. What a phenomenal event!
Yeah,
and that's been coming to
That's your mainstay,
WestWorld.
isn't it?
That's been coming to WestWorld for a long time.
Yeah,
and that didn't start off at the size that it is now. It started off smaller, and over the course of time, it's grown to be a very successful marquee event, not just for WestWorld, but for the city of Scottsdale and the state of Arizona.
Right.
You go around the country, you go around the world, and you say the name Barrett-Jackson Collector Car Auction, and people know.
Yeah.
They know that event. So, and we have the Arabian Horse Show and also Sun Country Show. And there's other shows as well. We're trying to see if we can maybe, to answer your question about goals for the future, to see if we can maybe identify a couple of events that we can bring in, and hopefully they can grow and become an anchor.
That's been the track record out there, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Kevin, what's your favorite event out there?
Well, of course, it's Barrett-Jackson. You go out every you go to that?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, Barrett-Jackson is. But like I said, I was telling you guys before you started, I went to the rodeo this year, and I hadn't been in a few years, and that event has really grown. They were busting at the seams.
Yeah.
But it was really well run. We got easy in, easy out. People were safe, and people were very nice in there, and we had a really, really good time at the rodeo this year.
Yeah.
So I think that might be something that we'll be doing again in the future. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then again, we went to a Ferrari Art Show, which I thought was great. First year you've had that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that coming back again and seeing that. So yeah, there's a couple of things I like out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be one of the ones that grows into your annual event and grows.
Oh, we're
grows
hoping
too,
that
right?
it does.
Yeah.
It's something. It shows off WestWorld in a different dimension. For that attracted a different clientele than what we normally have there, and we want diversity. We want to be a facility that we can have our rodeos at. We can have a up-end, high-end art show, and we can do everything in between.
Does that make sense?
That's our objective.
Those are fun, yeah.
I bet you if somebody came to you and wanted to say we want to have an event at WestWorld, you probably wouldn't have a lot to offer them, would you? As far as weekends, I mean, it'd probably be we get summertime. You might want to come have an event in July.
Yeah, well, from January 1 up until into May, there aren't any open dates.
Is that right?
We're it's a great position to be in.
Sure it is. Yeah.
And most facilities would enjoy to have that going for them. The challenge with that is now we don't have the flexibility. If we find a new event that we want to bring in, we can go out there and work to bring that event in. So, but anyway, it's a tight squeeze sometimes, moving one event out and the other event in at the same time. But we have a crew that does a very good job at doing that. And the producers that we work with, as I mentioned earlier, we're 90% repeat business, so they understand the challenges and the issues that we have, and we got our events tightly compacted. So
What is the Sun Country Horse? I'm not familiar with that event.
It's a quarter horse show.
Okay.
It takes place right after the Arabian show. Brings about 2,500 to 3,000 horses to WestWorld.
Wow, doesn't
and
really.
people come from throughout the country for that.
Yeah.
That is one of the biggest events that we have at WestWorld.
Is it really?
And we're very happy to have it. You guys should come out for some shows.
We should.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Sure.
Yeah.
I always like the Arabian Horse Show. That's my favorite event out there.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I love being able to walk through the barns and the stalls and interact with the horses and then see them.
Yeah,
see
the
them perform.
horses are very majestic. There's no doubt about
that's just
that.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the barns they set up, which are all, sit back, luxury,
They decorate
kicking
them.
back,
Don, we should go to the fair,
Should go to the fair too. Sure.
right?
Yeah.
When is the fair again?
It is the 25th of April through the 3rd of May.
Is that cover 2 weekends then? Or?
Yep, covers 2.
Okay.
And so what's going to be happening at the fair? What kind of stuff do you have going on?
They'll have a Ferris wheel. They'll have all types of rides. They'll have midway. They'll have games. And, of course, all the food.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
a state fair, huh?
Yeah, just like a state fair.
Yeah,
With your elephant
fantastic.
ears and their cotton candy. And
There you go.
Just what I need, a big load of
Yeah,
cotton
right,
candy
yeah,
right
right.
now. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Will, what have we asked you that you would, what we have not asked you that you wanted to talk about? Anything that we haven't covered with you?
I think you guys have done a good job of hitting on all the points.
We've been around the track a couple times.
Yeah, a little bit.
I know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it makes it easy because when we get guests like you who are doing wonderful things for our community, it makes it easy to talk to you.
Let me ask you guys something. So what events would you think we should try to bring into Westworld that maybe we haven't in the past?
Boy, that's a great question because I haven't thought about that.
That's why I asked about Bike Week because for some reason it escaped me this year. I'm not sure why.
It was just this past week.
I know. Yeah, I saw the bikes in town, so I knew it was going on.
Yeah.
But I did go to a concert out there and enjoyed it. And I don't even know who was there this year, but I would love to see more music events out there.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
and we're going to try to bring some more music events in.
And you can't go wrong with horses. That's
And horses that
horse
play a
thing
guitar
thing.
and sing.
There you
That's
go.
our
Perfect.
ultimate goal.
Western hoedowns out there, right? For sure. Well, great conversation. Thanks for all that you do out there at Westworld. We appreciate that. And our
Thanks for
community
having me.
benefits from all your hard work.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
And a great conversation today. Really appreciate that. And thanks to all of you for listening. Please share your podcast with your friends and neighbors and horse lovers and anybody else you can think of. And then come back next week for another episode of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale.